Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckbuilder.com here with match number 1 with our Mono Blue Devotion versus the Amsterdam. I forget what he's playing from. I believe this standard. So we're doing Pro Tour versus Pro Tour deck. So I made a little bit of a tweak to the Pro Tour list because I did not like the Jeremy Dezani. I think that the deck evolved enough in the first couple of weeks after it was run at the Pro Tour that it became more efficient. So I did tweak the deck list just a tad bit. So this, of course, is not a keepable land. We have way too many lands and just a Cyclonic Rift. So we'll ship that back. And this one's okay. It's not the greatest, but we do have an active Thassa, and that is something that the deck wants. So we'll go ahead and keep this throughout the island and then pass the turn. One of the cards I was surprised to not see in the Pro Tour deck that ended up being a staple a lot was Rapid Hybridization. So I added a bunch to the sideboard, which we'll probably bring in from the sideboard. And it was only using 3 Mutavaults. And we saw the power of Mutavault in the last standard, so I went up to 4. So again, I did cheat a little bit and tweak the deck list. But we are only using cards that are legal at the time of the Pro Tour. And so it's not going to have cards from either Born of the Gods or the Journey to Nyx, but the deck was pretty solid beforehand. So that second Bident Thassa is terrible, but it is, if he destroys it, we can at least do something about it. And there's a Caryatid, which he could have a Siege Rhino out next turn. But we'll go ahead and throw out the Nightveil Spectre. And now he's got some decisions to do, whether he wants to kill the Spectre with like a Hero's Downfall. I can't remember the list exactly what it used, and it's going to be Courser of Kruphix. So this is fine. We'll be able to get in with some damage with the Nightveil Spectre. I'll probably go Bident Thassa, and that way I can get even more value, and then we can Thassa the next turn, depending on what we draw here. There's a Jace. Jace is fine. He got cut to sideboard, but at the time of the Pro Tour, he was definitely main board. I think it's just going to be Bident here rather than taking up Jace. And that way we get some value out of the Spectre. And a huge Master of Waves if we do draw into it. And we get his Citadel, and he's got a Hero's Downfall on top, so that's a good one. And we get a Mutavault, which is an incredibly powerful card versus his deck. Nightveil Spectre is probably going to be downfalled. He's getting a lot of value off that Courser of Kruphix. But if he does downfall the Nightveil Spectre, we do have Jace that we can slam. And he has to use his turn to do so. And then Jace and Thassa will be active. Thassa's going to be good next turn, though. But I wonder if he's just going to... No, so he does end up utter-ending the Nightveil Spectre, which is going to be pretty decent. So I think the right play, this makes it easy for me. It's not going to be Jace. He's going to Thoughtseize away the Jace next turn. But I'd rather have him Thoughtseize away the Jace than Thoughtseize away the Thassa. Because Thassa, after the utter end now, is going to be very, very potent. So he's got another Hero's Downfall coming up. I guarantee he's going to Thoughtseize away the Jace. We have an active Thassa. And his only hope is to be another utter end on Thassa. I mean, he still does have 7 cards in his hand. We have the ability to really come back. I know he probably has a load of lands because he's been hitting the Courser of Kruphix lands in his hand. He can downfall the Frostburn Weird to make Thassa go inactive, but we can still give our Mutavault unblockable and draw a card. This is how efficient. Okay, so he has another Abzan Charm, which exiles it. Yeah. So that's tough. So if he Thoughtseize is here, which he should, he'll be able to take the Jace. And he smartly leaves back the other card. So I'm in a bit of a pickle. That's another nice card with the Nightveil Spectre. And I'm also going to make his stuff attack in next turn so that I can get through. Maybe I should have attacked with Frostburn Weird before. And no, I wouldn't want to trade at this point with the Corsair Crewfix. He's getting a ton of value off of Corsair Crewfix. But at this point, Nightveil Spectre is just pure value. I think he has one more Hero's Downfall in his hand. I can't remember if that got shuffled away or not. And there's the Siege Rhino. And it is just going to be Elspeth's Sun Champion, which is very problematic. So he's attacking in with his Courser. But Elspeth is going to be incredibly mean. I can't kill off the Courser still. But at least that taps down. Fortunately, we hit an island. I can kill off the soldier tokens by activating the Mutavault. But I'm definitely attacking into him with the Nightveil Spectre to get that Siege Rhino off the top. And draw a card of my own. I need a Master Waves. Another Nightveil Spectre is okay. But now he's going to get into Johnny, which can distribute 3+1/+1 counters, which is ugh. So we'll cast the other one. Which we still need that Master Waves to really get back in this. So actually, the Utter Ends in Abzan Charms are pretty good against Thassa. Alright, so we'll be able to pump up a Frostburn Weird. That means we can kill a Courser. Make him attack in. And he's got another Johnny on top. You'll be able to plus the Elspeth. And continue to get value off that Courser. And I did this wrong, actually. I tapped the wrong mana. But I think I want to kill all soldiers anyway. If he has another Abzan Charm, we could kill it, could lose value here. But it looks like Johnny meant... Oh, Wingmate Rock. No! That's actually very, very bad for us. He's just going to flood it. Flood the board with stuff. We do have a Cyclonic Rift we can draw into. So we desperately need a Thassa here. Another Nightveil Spectre, which is not going to do it. Oh, man. need a Nightthos Shrine to Nyx in some way to make these guys unblockable. But, again, we'll force him to attack in. He's going to gain an obscene amount of life. I want that Mana Confluence so that some way I can cast his stuff. Again, though, the thing about this old mono blue devotion, if I do draw into that Cyclonic Rift, I think there's actually 2 in the list. If I draw into the Cyclonic Rift, I can just board wipe him. I think that's the goal. I'm sure he's going to distribute the 3 counters. Oh, wow. If I was him, I would have distributed on the Wingmate Rocks. Gets a Courser or Crewfix, which he can cast this turn, actually. And my only hope here is to draw the Cyclonic Rift. Force him to attack him with everything here. Gains a ton of life, but life isn't relevant in this matchup. Master Waste can easily do over 40 damage in 1 turn. So we'll go to the blocks. And we'll just block a bunch of soldiers. I think I'll kill off the Courser and block some soldiers. Yeah, that's fine. And he does have 4 cards in hand. He could have a Hero's Downfall. Which he does have. Gets it out, though. And again, my only hope right now, is to rip a Cyclonic Rift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we actually can. We have to rip a land and a Cyclonic Rift overload. And I guess that's the way. Tiebunner Mage will not do it. It's absolutely going to be attacking with these guys. And both of them have to hit perfectly. And those do not hit the way we wanted. So, do I just die to him distributing counters? Yeah, we needed that Cyclonic Rift, for sure. And, I mean, we can Tidebinder Mage. And then Thassa. But we're still dead. Way dead. He's just going to pop Elspeth and win here. And I didn't play one of his own lands. But it didn't matter, because that is going to be game. We don't have enough blockers. So, we'll go on to the sideboard here. And Aetherling is actually kind of nice versus all the control he has. I don't think we need to bring in Wall of Frost versus the Siege Rhinos. We have ways just to tap them down. I will bring in these rapid hybridizations seem really good. And a one of Needle is really good too. The card I don't necessarily like is Jace in this matchup. I don't think I want to keep at least one Bident. I don't want to see two Bidents, but one is okay. And maybe I'm a little high on these rapid hybridizations. We'll just keep two in. Take the Jace out, put the Needle in. Negates are actually pretty good too. We're going to actually throw in negates in this match. And we want the Frostmerge, we want the Tidebinder Mages, we absolutely want the Cyclonic Rifts. Everything is pretty decent. That's the good news, is everything is pretty decent. Master Waves actually seems like the weak link in this one because it just dies to a lot of stuff, and he's probably going to bring in like Drown in Sorrows. So maybe that's the right... I do want Bident Mutavault combo in here, so I want as many of those as possible. Nightvale Specters actually do seem kind of weak in this match. So do the Frostburn Weirds don't seem very necessary either. They're just... This is tough because everything is good. So Rapid Hybridization, we'll keep one in. The Needle still seems fine. I'm going to take out a Master and probably a Nightvale Specter. Now, Nightvale still seems good in this one. And we saw how the Cyclonic Rift is just a boss. And Negate is just incredibly good too. I think I'm just going to take out two Masters. Even though this was the whole point to going this list, he's got a ton of removal. But I guess with this one, he's got to use the removal. So Masters might not be the card to take out. I'll keep the Masters in. And I do want like one or two Rapid Hybridizations. Maybe Cloudfin Raptor is just not... Yes, Cloudfin Raptor is amazing in this one. So is Tidebinder Mage. Frostburn Weird. I guess we'll just take out some Weirds and submit this. Jace actually isn't too bad. I might want to, next match, since I'm not on the play, I'm going to morph into the control route if I win this one. This one's looking good for me, though. Besides like a Drown in Sorrow, this is a really, really good hand against a deck that runs a ton of comes into play tap lands. So I'm going to just Cloudfin Raptor. And then next turn, the Cloudfin Raptor will be a 1-2. The problem is we do need to hit into our 1-of. I had a Nightthrill Shrine of Nyx. This was not in the original deck list of the Pro Tour, but it was just so powerful that you always want a 1-of. There's a Mutavault, which I think is not going to be the play because we want to try to get Nightvale Spectre out on time. So the Judge is Familiar. The other island. And we'll attack in with the Cloudfin. And we want to hit an island off the top next turn. So he's missing his green source, which is yeah, you have to have a green. He could like Glare of Heresy, the Judge is Familiar, but of course he wouldn't bring that in. That's the only thing he can do with his mana. He's stuck on just not having the right type of mana. So no Courser or Crewfix will come out next turn or Caryatid, so we're in great shape. There's Judge is Familiar again. It's something we can actually use. Actually should have gone Mutavault there. But he's down to a 17. We have Negate mana up. In case he does draw into like an Abzan Charm. He wouldn't want it anyway because we could Judge his Familiar. He's got a Mana Confluence. That's going to ping him. So he's using the original deck list too. I think they've dropped Mana Confluences by now. He's just going to go for a Caryatid. But that costs him a life. And the Caryatid cannot block anything in my deck. Tidebinder Mage cannot tap down the Caryatid. So I think the right play is just going to be Mutavault here. And yeah, it doesn't matter how we do it because we can't activate the Mutavault anyway. So for blue, Nightvale Spectre. That evolves. And we're going to get him for 4. And then, yeah, even like a Drown in Sorrow doesn't work here. It only kills the Judge's Familiars. Bile Blight does work on an Nightveil Spectre, but again, it doesn't work on anything else. I have Devotion like crazy. I have a Tiebinder Mage to tap down a Siege Rhino. And then we'll have Negate Mana up. Now, he could be running in Hostilities, but it's something I can counter. But it looks like it's going to be a Hero's Downfall. On most likely the Nightveil Spectre. It's going to be a Drown in Sorrow. And he's not going to pay this one. No point to it. Wow, he does pay it. He doesn't need to pay it. Because the other stuff survives. So I got a free damage in there. Didn't need to do that. And at this point, I really don't even need... That did mess up my Devotion. So we'll bite it here. And attack, and we'll get 2 cards. And hopefully get a land off the top of his library. It's an in Hostilities. That's really good. And a Judge's Familiar, which again makes him top into in Hostilities, and yeah, I think it's worth it to cast the Judge's Familiar at this point. And even if he has Hostilities now, we have the Mutavault Bident combo, which made the deck have so much range, which really made the deck the powerhouse at the first of the season. So again, they didn't have access at this point. When Jeremy Desani won the Pro Tour, they didn't have Drown in Sorrow yet. They didn't have Bile Blight yet. But since this is standard versus standard, he has access to all of the Born of the Gods, or the Theros block, and then just the first Khans of Tarkir set. So this is gonna be interesting. I can't wait till we get into like Zendikar versus like I don't know, versus Mirrodin, the original Mirrodin, to see which one is actually better. Those are the two probably the most overpowered sets since standard has been. I don't know. I guess you could make a argument for like Shards of Alara. That Lorwyn had some pretty overpowered decks too, but I just remember Mirrodin was dominated by one deck, and so was Zendikar. So, and it's a lot of those cards are still banned on the modern scene. So, yeah, it'll be fun to see to match up Pro Tour decks from clear back then. So I do honestly, I am on the side of Mono Blue here. I am playing Mono Blue. I'm thinking Mono Blue is if we played this enough, is a lot more powerful than Abzan. Abzan Midrange or Abzan Walkers is really what this one was. So I mean, he's got to use a lot of his resources to kill those off, and I'm just gonna get the card advantage back. That's exactly how Mono Blue used to win. So we'll just activate the Mutavault. Attack in for 3. Get him down to a 2. And we draw 2 Mutavaults, which is great, because I can even just Frostburn Weird here. And pass the turn. And that way, if he does have like another End Hostilities, it doesn't do much. We have 2 activations on Mutavaults. Siege Rhino's really his only hope. But after I Tidebinder Mage it down, it's not going to be that great. I guess Elspeth here is not bad either. But then it's Elspeth plus Elspeth, lose everything, and I still draw a card. Yep. So he's going to plus Elspeth. He's going to lose all those tokens. And do I actually want to do that? Let's see. How much mana? Gives me a... Huh. Yes, I do. I hate to do this because then we don't have a mana to negate, but I think that's fine. We'll Tidebinder Mage. And sure, we'll pump this up. And that way he has to block. Still get another card. He goes down to a 1. He can't even activate his Mana Confluence now. We draw a card, which is another flyer. And we'll play another Mutavault. And then pass the turn to him. We have a ton of outs, of course. We still have like Cyclonic Rift. But he needs a Siege Rhino here. Which is still kind of like subpar. Now, he could Bile Blight for the Mutavault, so I'm going to be very careful with that. I do have the Negate, though. He has 2 cards in hand. And again, I can just activate 1 Mutavault. Heroes or Murders Cut something. Murders cuts off the flyer, so he's still alive. But I mean, there's a Cyclonic Rift. I mean, I can just activate, and then still have negate mana up, or activate 2 of them. And actually, no, he blocks, so that top deck actually does it. We'll overload the Cyclonic Rift. And then what does he have? A Bile Blight? Yeah, that doesn't even save him either. So, you know what? I kind of want to go the control route with Aetherling. And Jace. These Frostburn Weirds continue to seem kind of useless to me. I think I'm going to want Jace instead. And then even the Clothing Raptors are meh, are a little bit meh in this. Because Rapid Hybridization, no, Rapid doesn't, this is more of the Planeswalker version. I really don't think that's the right way to go, is Rapids. Again, I kind of want like a 1 of Aetherling and take out like a Master. We're going to submit this, have more of a control feel to it. His deck has an incredible hard time to deal with Aetherling. I'm going to keep this. I love this hand. First turn Familiar, second turn Mutavault. Having to gate up for any shenanigans. 4 lands is ideal. He could have like a crazy fast hand with a Siege Rhino that could give me problems. And plus, we haven't even seen a Siege Rhino out of him yet. There's a Master of Waves. That'll be nice. It's something he has to answer. There's the annoying Judge's Familiar, though. And see, another tap land. This is where you can really exploit the Abzan. Other than we don't have a turn 2. I've kind of killed a lot of my turn 2s. Well, Mutavault here. That's a lovely draw. And we have Negate up in case he were to draw anything or cast anything. Like if he goes Abzan Charm here, I might just negate it. But I don't think there's much else he can do with his mana. Got Hero's Downfall. Most likely what he's going to do is try to either Courser Crewfix or now a Caryatid. So, yep, he's just a turn behind with all these comes into play tap lands. Again, I think that the Abzan decks have really morphed into more fetch lands now, especially with the Tassiger being included in most of these lists, and then just being reliant on the untap lands. And maybe it's a little less problematic to get mana screwed than it is to be behind a turn on everything coming into play tapped. So again, I do have to worry about Bile Blight, so there's no way that I'm going to activate a Mutavault. Other than I could sack my Familiar. Yeah, it's just gonna be, of course it's just gonna be Thassa next turn anyway. And that's nice. We have a duplicate Thassa. Would not be surprised whatsoever if he Bile Blights this. That's a Bile Blight that will not hit a Master. And there is Thassa. Here could come Siege Rhino, and that will hurt. So we'll Scry. Put that on bottom, I believe, since we have another Jace. And another Negate. So this control route might not have been the right way to go. But I'm going to Jace and +1 Jace, I think. And that way he's got to decide where to attack in. So we're actually in a bit of a pickle here with the Siege Rhino. I mean, that is the way that Abzan... I mean, this is the whole reason to run Abzan, is this card is so incredibly powerful. One of the most powerful creatures ever printed. But, I mean, we have... If he doesn't have the removal, Master of Waves can just get him. We're going to be able to scry... at this point, I think I want lands. He has to decide whether he wants to go into Jace or not. The best card we can draw into is not quite a Nykthos Shrine of Nyx. We need more devotion for Nykthos. But I want to be able to cast the Master and keep up. That works right there. Jeez, that's going to kill off Jace. Yeah, that really hurts. And I'm just a ways away from these casting and negating. I'd actually want that. And it's Master for 2. But we need to get something out that can deal with his Siege Rhino. Still can't deal with the Siege Rhino right now, but that Abzan Charm. That is going to be... That's going to be a great, great card versus me. So these negates are just being so dead. They're just not coming out on time. Maybe I should have got value out of the Jace. I'm on like a huge, fast clock here with the Siege Rhino. And maybe I should have scryed away that island. And now in hindsight, I don't really need it. Trample on the Siege Rhino is very, very problematic. We only have the one rapid hybridization. We'd have a TIE Battle Mage that can just plain flat out tap it down. But most likely I'm going to lose this one. As I go down to an 11. And he's got 4 cards in hand. He can just continue to go crazy. It's not going to be a Elspeth Quiet, so a Courser, and it finds him the land he wants. And an Abzan Charm's coming up to actually exile my Thassa, which actually isn't that bad since I have another one. And that really hurts. Yeah, I just couldn't get these negates. These negates need to come with early stuff to put pressure. And he keeps the Abzan Charm. We need a rapid hybridization here. That's a terrible card at this point. You know, that's a decent card, but it's not what I want. Because what is he going to... We're at the Cyclonic Rift, the Siege Rhino back. I can negate that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's just not gonna do it. Got another Drown in Sorrow coming up. He's smartly just gonna let it go through. Rifting a Siege Rhino is just bad, but I have to. And see if he decides to put counters. He does not. Negate is not going to do anything. Siege Rhino is going to come back out. Yep. Just bad plays all around, or bad options all around. I don't even know what can get me out of this. Nothing can get me out of this. Put that on bottom. Well, there we go. That's a nice one. Other than he Drown in Sorrows. But this gives me a turn. And he's got a Hero's Downfall coming up, too. So negate this. which is going to allow him to Abzan Charm on his Courser. That's what I would do. Doesn't attack, though. I wonder why he didn't attack there. He really should have attacked. I'm down to a 6. At this point, I think I don't want put that on bottom. I don't want a Cloudfin. Night Veil's fine. Night Veil's actually really good. And he's going to Abzan Charm end a turn. Which, I'll negate. But then he's going to get a Hero's Downfall. Oh, I can't believe he didn't Abzan Charm there. Because he wanted the Hero's Downfall on top, and he didn't want to use the mana. He has... I know he's got a Hero's Downfall and an Abzan Charm in his hand. Yuck. We've burned one of the Cyclonic Risks, which is huge. Again, put this on the bottom. Shouldn't have used that island, especially if I grab one here with the Night Veil Spectre. Let's it go through. That's interesting. We get the Abzan Charm. That's really, really good. And he's got a Caryatid, so he will scry away the Caryatid. And he gets another Hero's Downfall on top. Yuck. End of turn, he's going to try to negate that. We have to keep that Siege Rhino tapped down. But the Abzan Charm here on the Thassa is what I would do. He's actually going to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, huh? There's a Siege Rhino coming up. We'll be able to get that, though, with the Night Veil Spectre. Unfortunately, no way to cast it. And he will exile. He will downfall 1, 2, 3, 4, the Tidebinder Mage. That really, really hurts. Go to a 2. That means Siege Rhino's untapping. And we got this worthless Thassa in our hand. We'll put that on bottom. We need something relevant besides a land. That will be very relevant. We have to get that Siege Rhino. But unfortunately, the Courser might end up killing us. Plus, we're going to give him a 3/3. I could wrap... Oh, no, I can't rapid my own Thassa. Got a Wingmate Rock coming up. Again, if we had any way to add white, that'd be beautiful. We know he's got a Temple of Malady. I think he's got another Abzan Charm, though. So I think I need to block the... the Courser. And wrap it off the Siege Rhino. So really my only hope off the top is like a Master to draw a ton of blockers. Or even a Rift. A Rift isn't bad. Or something to get Thassa active. That's fine. Tap down the Frog Lizard. See if he's got that last removal. In his hand. He just used it on the Tidebinder Mage, if he did. Yep, Utter End on the Tidebinder Mage. And that will do it. Because on the backswing, he will kill me. So, that's going to be game. So much removal. So much removal with that. But I think that in hindsight, do not go the controller route. Just keep going the aggro route. Make him use everything early. I mean, those even Frostburn Weirds would have been nice at the very first to add that devotion, get Thassa active. And then Frostburn Weirds a little bit tough for him to deal with like the Drown in Sorrows and stuff. So anyway, this has been Kevin with RogueDeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.